Hey, what's up everyone? This is Nick at BarBend.com, and this is actually not all the meal replacements that I've tried. These are just the best. I've gone through many meal replacement powders across the market, and these are the best ones I've landed on. I'm gonna talk about the best meal replacements for weight loss, for muscle gain, for people with diabetes, people on a keto diet, and plenty of other ones. And there's a lot to talk about here, so let's start with the best of the best. So when trying to land on the best meal replacement, there are three categories that I look at very closely. Number one is the micronutrients, so the vitamins and minerals. There are actually a lot of meal replacements out there that just have 5, 6, or 7 of them. I'm looking for meal replacements that have a good 26, 27, 28 of them, including sodium and potassium, which often get left off of that list. The other thing I look at are the macronutrients. So that's the protein and the fat and the carbohydrates. There are a lot of meal replacements out there as well that are a lot closer to like a nutritious protein shake or a carbohydrate shake than something that has a good mix of protein and fat and carbohydrates as a well-planned meal would. So that's also very important. And then the third thing I look at is the omega-3 fatty acid content. So there are plenty of meal replacements out there that have a lot of the vitamins and minerals. They've got a good amount of macros, but they ignore that important part of the equation because omega-3s are an important part of your nutrition. They've been linked to like mental health, immunity, inflammation, and a bunch of other stuff. So without further ado, my favorite meal replacements, it's actually a tie for the first spot. It's between HUEL and AMBRONITE. So HUEL is one that I really like because it has a really good amount of calories and it's very inexpensive. You get about 37 grams of protein, 47 grams of carbohydrates with 9 grams of fiber and 16 grams of fat. So I think that's a really good amount of protein, carbs, and fat. It works well if you're active. It works fine if you're not active. It's got fantastic nutrition and it's got 3 grams of omega-3 fatty acids in it. You can also buy flavorings to change up the flavor, and there are gluten-free flavors available as well if you do have sensitive allergies in that regard. AMBRONITE, on the other hand, I think this is a really good option for people who are all about all natural supplements. So this is actually, so whereas HUEL is made from, it does contain vitamins and minerals added to it. It has an artificial sweetener as well. This is completely natural. This is AMBRONITE. It's only made from natural ingredients. It's got a really good amount of nutrition in it. It's a little bit pricey, but I really like the taste. I really liked all the ingredients. I really like the nutrition. Plus it's got a good amount of polyunsaturated fat as well, by which I mean the omega-3 fatty acids. So I was a big fan of that one as well. Second place on my favorite meal replacements is Soylent, this one here. So Soylent is a very popular meal replacement. It came along in the last few years. There are plenty of people who live just on Soylent alone, although I should say Soylent does not advise you actually do that. But it has a fantastic amount of nutrition in here. There's a good amount of calories, there's a good amount of protein, fat, and carbohydrates, and you get about 2 grams of the plant-based omega-3 fatty acid ALA per serving. I'm not crazy about the taste, but otherwise I think it's a really fantastic product. And then the third and final one of my favorite is Sogo meal replacement. This is actually very popular among survivalists, so it lasts a really long time in this bag. There are plenty of guys who have like piles and piles of Sogo in their bunker just in case something bad happens. The nutrition is fantastic. It doesn't have any choline, but besides that, I think it's a really good job. It's pretty high in carbohydrates as well. There's 46 grams of carbs to 19 grams of protein and 19 grams of fat. Generally, I like protein and carbs to be a little bit closer to one another and for it to be a tiny bit lower in fat. But overall, I was really happy with Sogo. So that's it. Those are my 3 favorites. And there's a tie for the first spot between HUEL and AMBRONITE. So when it comes to my favorite meal replacement for weight loss in particular, I should first mention that I am not a doctor and you should speak with your doctor before undertaking any weight loss regimen. That being said, I think my first entry is going to be a bit of a surprise to some folks because I think that Ample is actually the best meal replacement for weight loss. Not Ample K, that's the ketogenic one, but the regular Ample. This is the 600 calorie version. I would recommend the 400 calorie version for weight loss, but you may still find it to be pretty high calorie for a weight loss product. Now the reason I'm picking that one is that when you're talking about a meal replacement for weight loss, many people just go really heavy on the protein and make it very low in fat and carbohydrates, which does keep the calories low, as are the other entries on this list. But the reason I really like Ample's 400 calorie version is that not only does it have a good amount of protein, it has a good amount of fat and a good amount of fiber, so it really is very filling. Compared to all the other meal replacements that I've tried for weight loss, Ample, in my opinion, is the best at satiating hunger for a relatively small amount of calories. So that's why I was a big fan of Ample's. The second place runner-up for me was the 310 shake. Now, this has a really, really good taste, I gotta say. A lot of people are gonna like the fact that it has no artificial flavors. It also contains some probiotic bacteria, as does ample, which means it could have digestive health benefits, and it's very low in calories. It's just 90 calories, you get 15 grams of protein, 7 grams of carbohydrates, but 5 grams of fiber, so it's just 2 grams of net carbohydrates, and 1.5 grams of fat. So super, 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 super low in calories, and very, very nutritious as well. My third favorite one for weight loss, I gotta say, is Ideal Shake's Ideal Shape. This has an enormous amount of nutrition as well. The macro split is it's a little bit more even. It's 11 grams of protein to 10 grams of carbs with 5 grams of fiber. So it's 5 grams of net carbohydrates and 2.5 grams of fat. And it also has a really wide variety of vitamins and minerals as well. It's pretty sweet, which is the one potential downside you might find, but you can always just balance that out by using more water. So I do think that those three are definitely the best for weight loss. It's gonna be Ample, 310, and Ideal Shake. Now, when it came time to choose the best meal replacements for men, I didn't want to oversimplify things, but to be fair, in my experience, many meal replacements that are aimed at men tend to be particularly high in vitamin D because that's been linked to sufficient amounts of testosterone in the blood. Ditto for zinc as well. So that's one of the main reasons why I decided that Fieldworks Primo Smoothie Meal was my favorite for men. This one has 500% of the recommended daily intake of vitamin D, and vitamin D at that level, it's not something you need to worry about getting too much of, at least not when it's just 500% of the RDI. Besides that, it's also all natural. There are no artificial sweeteners in this. There's a good amount of digestive enzymes and probiotics as well to improve digestive health. And it's also pretty tasty as well. It could have a few more minerals, but overall, I was really, really satisfied with this product. My number 2 for men was HUEL as well. I mean, I've already mentioned this. I think HUEL is just a fantastic, fantastic product. It's a little bit lower in vitamin D than this one, which is why it came in number 2. But generally speaking, it has more minerals. It's not quite as nutritious in some regards. It doesn't have as big an emphasis on digestive health or things like that. Plus it has the artificial sweetener, but nonetheless, really good amount of protein. It should be good for supporting an active lifestyle and a lot of vitamins and minerals as well. So HUEL was my number 2. And my third favorite meal replacement for men, that's gonna be this one, Labrada Lean Body. Now, when I got this, especially with this muscular guy in the front, I really just thought this was going to be just like a kind of nutritious protein shake. But it does actually have a pretty impressive amount of vitamins and minerals. There's a good amount of protein and a good amount of calories as well. There's 35 grams of protein to 20 grams of carbohydrates, 6 grams of fiber, and a really wide variety of vitamins and minerals too. So I was a big fan of the 3 of these, especially for guys that lead active lifestyles. So when trying to land on the best meal replacement for women, I'm not of the mind that women need completely different meal replacement products than men, but I did take a good look at certain products that are higher in nutrients that tend to be more highly valued by female consumers in the industry at large. So with that in mind, that was why I was a really big fan of Nature's Bounty Complete Protein and Vitamin Mix. It's got a really good amount of all the vitamins and minerals. It's also all natural. But the reason I picked it for women is that this contains a good amount of collagen, which has been linked to skin and joint health. It's got a good amount of biotin, which has been linked to hair health. And it's also got a good amount of calcium as well, which women are often advised to consume more of than men because women are at a higher risk of osteoporosis than men. And again, it's got plenty of other vitamins and minerals as well. So yeah, for the female market, they have done like a lot of market research on this product here. I think it did a really good job. My second favorite meal replacement powder for women is also one of my favorite meal replacement powders overall, and that would be HUEL. As I mentioned, I don't think we have to have completely different meal replacements for men and women, and this really does have a fantastic amount of vitamins and minerals, including 25% of your daily calcium and your daily biotin. It is a little bit higher in calories per serving than a lot of meal replacements that are marketed at women at 500 calories, but that 500 calorie serve is made up of 3 scoops, so it's really easy just to take fewer scoops if you want to have a lower calorie meal. That's up to you. So I did really like HUEL as well. Finally, my third favorite for women would be this one here, Isagenix's Isolean Shake. I think this is a really cool product. It's all natural. It's surprisingly tasty. It's got a good emphasis on digestive health as well, more so than the other products. It's got some probiotic bacteria in there. Plus it contains 450% of the recommended daily intake of biotin. So that should please plenty of female customers as well. So those are my 3 favorite meal replacement shakes for women, although in my opinion, they're pretty good for men too. Now, as for my favorite meal replacements for women when weight loss is the primary concern, Ideal Shake was definitely my favorite one. I should first mention that I am not a doctor and you should speak with your doctor before undertaking any weight loss regimen. That being said, I was a big fan of Ideal Shake. It's very low in calories, just 100 calories per serving. There's a pretty good amount of protein and fiber and fat, 11 grams of protein, also 5 grams of fiber. It's very nutritious. One thing that I really liked about it is that it contains slendester. So that is an extract made from potato. Studies have actually shown that potatoes are perhaps the most satiating food out there, and that has a lot to do with these enzymes they have inside them. People have extracted that, put it into this, and it helps to control hunger really well. So that's why I was a really big fan of Ideal Shake. My second favorite product for women's weight loss was definitely 310 shake. Again, very, very low in calories. This is 90 calories. You got 15 grams of protein as well and 5 grams of fiber, so it might be a little bit more filling in that regard. Plus, it's all natural, so that's gonna be pleasing to a lot of folks. And it's got some lactobacillus probiotic bacteria, which could have digestive health, and it has also been linked in some studies potentially to better weight management. That's a pretty big if. The research is in its infancy, but nonetheless, yeah, people like it quite a lot. Then finally, my favorite one for women was this one here, Vi-Shape. I think it is really, really tasty. I'm a huge fan of Vi-Shape's nutritional shake. It goes down really well. There's a really wide variety of vitamins and minerals. It is super low in calories, just 90 calories with 12 grams of protein and 2 grams of net carbohydrates. Plus, it also contains digestive enzymes. And it's possible that digestive enzymes, they may improve digestive health. They can help you to get more energy out of your food. In that regard, they can potentially do a better job of with insulin sensitivity and building muscle. So that's also a bit of a maybe. That research is pretty young. But nonetheless, there's some really promising evidence that these are the 3 best meal replacements for women concerned with weight loss. Now, as for the best meal replacements for weight gain or muscle gain, I largely based my decisions on the calorie counts, but that's not all I was looking at. So my number 1 pick is Sogo. So one of the reasons for that is it's a relatively large amount of calories. It's 430 calories per serving. There's a really good amount of vitamins and minerals here as well. One of the things that I really liked about it is that it is a little bit higher in carbohydrates than a lot of the other contenders here. So it's got 46 grams of carbohydrates for 19 grams of protein. Now, you do need to get a lot of calories when you're trying to gain weight, but you also need a lot of carbohydrates as well. People tend to prefer high carb diets than high fat diets when trying to gain weight. So that was why I really liked Sogo. My second favorite was HUEL. This one here stands for Quick Meal. It's a Dutch company. I was a really big fan of this product. It has 700 calories per serving, which I know is a lot, but that comes from 5 scoops. You know, on a per scoop basis, it's not crazy high in calories, but it's really easy for me to get 5 scoops, get 700 calories worth, put it in a shaker and drink it, and I think it's really tasty. It's not as high in carbohydrates when compared to protein, which is why I didn't put it at number 1. Nonetheless, in 1 serving of this, it's got 49 grams of protein, 79 grams of carbohydrates. Again, serving size is like kind of relative when you really think about it. I look more at the macronutrient ratios, but still, I was a big fan of HUEL, and I thought it tasted really good as well. Finally, my third favorite for weight gain is Ample. Now I'm talking about the 600 calorie version of Ample, which is the one I've got here. 600 calories, and it is delicious. It's really easy to drink. It doesn't have a ton of vitamins and minerals, but it's got a really big emphasis on digestive health, which I think is important, especially if you're eating a ton of calories. You really want to make sure that your digestive health is in top notch, and Ample, I think, can help get you there. It doesn't have that many carbohydrates. It's got as many carbohydrates as it does protein, and it's got 14 grams of fiber, so the net carbs are relatively low, which is why it wasn't any higher on my list. But nonetheless, I think it's really good for some easy calories, for improving digestive health, and it just tastes really good. So what about folks following a ketogenic diet? Well, in my opinion, Ample K is the best meal replacement for folks on the ketogenic diet. That has a lot to do with the convenience. It's just, I know that when following a ketogenic diet, it can be pretty tough to get keto-friendly meals when you're out and about. You can just have this bottle. It's really easy. You just fill it up with water, give it a shake. You get a good 600 calories ready to go. It's made from all natural ingredients as well. There are no artificial sweeteners. And unlike the regular Ample, this has some added vitamins in the way of calcium, vitamin D, iron, and magnesium. So that can definitely, I think it definitely has some advantages over the regular Ample. Plus it's very keto friendly and very tasty. The second favorite meal replacement for the keto diet is Ketogenics Keto Meal. It's got a ton of vitamins and minerals. Also, one thing that's really important about this is that it contains exogenous ketones. The company worked on this with Dom D'Agostino, who's a really big authority in the field of keto nutrition and intermittent fasting. It's got a lot going for it. The main reason I didn't put it at number 2 is that these exogenous ketones, they don't taste amazing. I guess it has slightly metallic taste in the mouth. Plus, there are plenty of people in the keto crowd who don't like taking exogenous ketones, so it might be a little bit less versatile, but the people who will like it will definitely like it a lot. Then finally, my third favorite for the keto diet, this one here, Keto Meal from American Metabolics. It doesn't have quite as many vitamins and minerals as the other ones on this list. However, it is all natural, no artificial sweeteners or anything like that. Plus, it is largely made, there's a lot of fat in here as well, and all that comes from whole egg powder and butter powder, and there's some cocoa in here as well. So I'm not exaggerating when I say when you mix this with a bit of water, it tastes like you're drinking brownie batter. I really, really like the flavor, so I think this is definitely worth trying out. Now, when I was looking at meal replacement shakes for athletes, I wasn't just looking at the protein and the nutrients, I was looking at meal replacements that have a good amount of carbohydrates as well. In my experience, folks who lead pretty athletic lifestyles, they tend to try to consume 3, sometimes 4 times as many grams of carbohydrates as they do grams of protein. So with that in mind, my favorite meal replacement shake for athletes, surprisingly, it was GNC's Total Lean Shake. The reason for that is the macronutrients. There's 9 grams of protein to 32 grams of carbohydrates. So I think it is a pretty impressive split. That's definitely the kind of split that I'm looking for after I've had like a heavy deadlift session or something like that. And it's also got a really wide variety of vitamins and minerals as well. I did think it was really, really impressive in that regard. It's also got an okay amount of sodium and it's very low in cholesterol as well. My second favorite for athletes was Grub Sub. Now the taste isn't amazing with Grub Sub. It tastes a little bit similar to some other brands, like a sort of a bland soy kind of flavor. But on the upside, I think it makes it a really good base for, like, let's say a protein shake. If you can blend it up with some fruit, get some extra vitamins and minerals in that regard. But even without that, there's a really good amount of vitamins and minerals, and you're gonna get a little over 20 grams of protein to about 61 grams of carbohydrates. So I thought that was like a really good split as well. Finally, my third favorite meal replacement shake for athletes was Boost Complete Nutritional Drink. So this is the original variety of Boost. I've got about a dozen other ones, but this one I really, really like. And there are a few reasons for that. It has a really wide variety of vitamins and minerals, which I was super impressed with. You got about 240 calories here, so it's not crazy high, not crazy low in calories. But yeah, of course, the macronutrient ratio I thought was pretty on point. There are 10 grams of protein here to 41 grams of carbohydrates. Now it is true there's 20 grams of sugar in this, which some people try and stay clear of, which is why I didn't mention it in other categories. But for athletes, in my experience, they typically crave, they try and find a product that has a good amount of sugar in it, especially following a workout. So I think Boost can fit the bill with that, especially because it's pretty convenient and portable. So when looking at the best meal replacement for people with diabetes, there are a few different factors I just take into consideration. Certainly the net carbohydrates and the amount of sugar, that does get quite a bit of focus when discussing these sorts of products. But I also want to take a good look at the amount of cholesterol and saturated fat, which people with diabetes are told to strictly limit, perhaps more so than people in the general population because of like certain potential health-related issues in regard to that. So with that in mind, I think the best meal replacement product for folks with diabetes is 310 Shake. The reason for that is this has 15 grams of protein with 7 grams of carbohydrates and 5 grams of fiber. So it's the net carbohydrates are pretty low, just 2 grams per serving for 15 grams of protein. There's no sugar whatsoever. There's also no saturated fat and no cholesterol. Plus, it's really, really tasty and there are no artificial sweeteners, and it's got a really wide variety of vitamins and minerals. So I thought this was a pretty impressive product. My second favorite for people with diabetes, that would be this one here, Viceshape's Nutritional Shake Mix. I think it's really tasty, first of all, but also you get 12 grams of protein. There are 7 grams of carbohydrates with 5 grams of fiber. So yeah, just 2 grams of net carbohydrates in this. There's less than 1 gram of sugar per serving. There's just 1 gram of fat and there's no saturated fat. There is 5% of your daily cholesterol, which is why I put that at number 2. Nonetheless, that is very, very low in cholesterol. And also the nutrition really is outstanding. It has a really wide variety of vitamins and minerals. I don't think anyone's gonna be disappointed with that. My third favorite, this one here, I'm talking about RSB's True Fit. Now, when I saw this, I thought it was more of like a nutritious protein shake than anything else, but I think it is a really impressive product. It's got a pretty wide variety of vitamins and minerals, not as many as the others on this list, but still it has a really impressive amount of vitamins and minerals. You got 25 grams of protein with just 4 grams of net carbohydrates. There are 2 grams of saturated fat and about 20% of the recommended daily intake of cholesterol, which is why this is on number 3. But nonetheless, that ratio of net carbohydrates to protein, and given all of the vitamins and minerals in here, I think this is nonetheless a pretty solid pick. All right, so those are my absolute favorite meal replacement shakes on the market. I tried a ton of these. I'm really confident with that list. If you want to really have a bit of a deeper dive into the science and see the full list and all the written reasons, make sure you Google BarBend plus best meal replacements.